Well, today my replacement switch came in for this test setup. I've got this thing set up now to where, oh, this switch is the power module to run the blower motor in the Toronado. Ordered this from David North and it just came in. Oh no. Boy, that's a mess waiting to happen, isn't it? Look out. Look out. It's magic. Oh, geez. Let me get a bag. $10 says David's up there laughing his butt off at this. Don't you hate these bags? You can't get them open. There we go. Now, let's see if I can do this. Oh boy. Let's see. Okay, so much for that. Oh, don't go anywhere. Don't you guys get out. Let's see, there's the switch. I'll be digging this crap out for a week. And it's fairly low humidity, even though it rained overnight. It's fairly low humidity in the air, and boy, the static is just going nuts here. Let's see. Let's see if I can get this out of the way. Oh, geez. I gotta get a vacuum cleaner to clean this up. I'll be right back. Okay. Now I'll have to change the vacuum cleaner bag. I'll say one thing. The boy does package his stuff well. I didn't mean this to be an unboxing. One 606, 1602. That, I don't remember if that's the same number that's in mine or not. One 606, 1602, 1606, 1602. Looks exactly the same. Okay. So now, this is battery plus. I'm using this handy dandy 30 amp Chinese hickey over there for battery plus, and that is, let's see, this one, this is battery plus, this is 12 volts in. So this will go there. Now this power supply right here, this is going to be like 0 to 7 volts. When I tested this thing before, the programmer was sending 0 to 7 volts to this guy to turn on the blower motor. The blower motor wasn't doing it. It didn't ever come on. I did notice something after reviewing the video later, that there was a point at which I was sending values from the diagnostic screen, which is incrementing the voltage going from the programmer to this guy, that there was a point that the voltage coming through this went to 0. And just sitting at quiescent mode, there was about, I think, something like 50 or 40, 50, 60 millivolts that were just floating on the line going to the blower motor. But at some point, that was pulled to ground. It snapped to 0. And if I remember right, that was, I think, a value of like 13 or 14, and I can't remember what voltage that was. I can review that and see. But anyhow, so BL, that's blower. So blower motor, that's this guy right here. That's the red lead, which is this. I've got a scope hooked up to this crap now. So blower. This is a lead going to this motor right here. That if this works, that motor right there should turn on with battery voltage from that guy. Let's see. Trigger voltage, that's the voltage coming from this supply over here, which simulates what would be coming from the programmer. That goes to here. And then ground is this guy. Okay, verify all my settings. I've got this turned down to 0 volts. This one, this voltmeter is measuring what's coming out of this. This is simulating the programmer. This is looking at battery voltage. This, if it comes on, there we go. We'll be looking at voltage coming out of this going to this. Now in the service manual, it looked like the voltage that comes out of this that goes to the blower motor is a pulse width modulated signal. So I've got a scope hooked up here that I'm going to monitor that. Let's see which one. Yeah. This is number 2. I've got to turn on the power, don't I? Got the scope about to boot up. Okay, so that's 13.78. Does that show up? Yeah. So this is what's coming out of this device right here. That's simulating the battery in the car. Now, the blue trace is looking at what's going to the blower motor. The yellow trace is the input coming from this guy right here, even though I've got a voltmeter over here. Do all 3 of those show up okay? Yeah, I think they do. Okay. So let's make sure. This is trigger voltage. This comes from here. Let's start ramping up some voltage. Probably help turn this one on, wouldn't it? Okay, so this time there's nothing going out. On this other switch right here, this guy right here would be at like 50 millivolts with nothing happening. So let's start ramping this up. 300 millivolts. I don't Don't see anything happening yet. That's 2 volts. There we go. That's 7 volts right there. The blower motor is running. Looks like it's only running on 1 speed though. It may act differently in the car. Takes 2.8 volts to get that puppy on though. 13.68 volts. Looks like it's either on or it's not. Okay, Houston, we may have a problem, but I'm not sure. Let's go put this in the car and go to diagnostics and see if the blower motor changes speed. Turn this guy off. Turn the scope off. Turn that guy off. Now one thing that's different about the setup in the car and the setup here, there's a feedback loop from this guy. The line that goes from this power module to the blower motor also has a feedback loop that goes back into the programmer. So the programmer is monitoring what's happening at the blower motor. I don't have that here. So that's the difference. Anyhow, let's turn the voltmeters off. Let's disconnect everybody. Also, lead voltage going into this thing right here, that's probably a fairly high current draw. That's another difference. This is a low amperage motor, and this is a small cable. So let's go set this in the car, turn the car on, and see what happens. Okay, the switch is now just sitting here. You can see the hole back there where it's supposed to go, and the blower motor is in. So let's go see if we can get into diagnostics mode. Move the seat back so I can actually get in here. I'll pull the seats forward so I can get this back seat out. There's a fun little story on that involving my daughter and one of her friends from many years ago. My daughter's 27 now. When she was in kindergarten and first grade, she had a friend named Grace. And Grace was over one day, and I had taken the girls somewhere. I don't know where, in this car. And that's at the age that you have loose teeth, and you lose your teeth, you lose your front teeth. Grace lost a tooth in the car, and we couldn't find it. We looked everywhere for it. So, and I've always known that tooth was in here somewhere, but I had decided that since I was pulling everything out of this car, I was going to make a search for that tooth. Well, I collected up all the debris and everything that had built up underneath that back seat all this time, and sifting through it, I found that frickin' tooth. and I just mailed it to her parents with the story behind it. Okay. Come on, Mr. Vic. There we go. Now, see if I can remember how to get in this. It hadn't been that long. Let's see. Off and warm. There we go. Service mode, yes. Has to go through all the codes and everything. C553 current. ECM. That noise is the compressor for boosting and leveling the car. No, ECM, BCM, yes. This whole thing is shifted this way, so I've got to get my finger. BCM data, no. BCM inputs, no. BCM outputs, yes. Let's go level. BCM override, yes. Did it take it? Come on, back out. Lower speed, there we go. Let's go. No blower. Yet. This will go to 100. This screen flipping is. There it goes. And it is changing speeds. I don't know where it's coming out. It's coming up there. Of course, there's no vacuum on the car. I've got to fix this. It looks like it's maxed out right there. Well, I didn't want to go that far. Go to 0. Okay. It works. Awesome. Now my next thing is to take this bezel off right here, remove the switches from the front, and get to the adjustments down on the bottom and set that horizontal. So my test setup here didn't exactly duplicate what goes on in the car. But that's okay, at least it works. So I think I can put all my tools away now and clean my kitchen table off and may actually have a meal for a change.